Suddenly there's so much.
I suspect the peacocks are fine.
Yeah, we need to find them.
All right, so we need to move on. Something very interesting is going to be happening tomorrow. The special motion relating to the removal of the Deputy Speaker of the Senate, Professor Kithure Kindiki, is coming before the House for debate and resolution. Gashuri, can you tell us what to expect to happen tomorrow in the Senate?
Nothing much. Looks like the die is cast.
Someone is losing a job and they're saying nothing much. Anyway,
because it's all too clear. It's all too clear, and there probably may not be any surprises. I was looking at the number of signatures that have that were presented together with the motion or notice of motion. 48 signatures from 26 Jubilee senators and 22 from the NASA team or the minority team. Basically, kind of the handshake team. And according to the standing orders in the Constitution, to remove the Deputy Speaker, you need 2/3 majority. That's about, the Senate has 67 senators, so 2/3 is 44.6. And because there's no 0.6 of a senator, you're talking about 45 senators. So if 48 senators signed in support, then probably tomorrow it will not be very difficult to garner 45 senators or thereabout. And in any case, that voting will be by secret ballot. But how secret that is not a big discussion, because if it is electronic voting, by the end of that discussion, we will know who voted for who. Put the mathematics even better. The incumbent, or Professor Kindiki, the target of this motion, requires at least 23 senators to support him so that he can escape the impeachment or the removal. I've seen a letter sent to all the Jubilee senators, 38 of them by Irongo Kangata, the majority whip in the Senate, telling them that tomorrow's matter is a party position, and so they must vote accordingly. Accordingly meaning they must vote in support of the impeachment motion.
Party position, yes.
And there is a rider there that disciplinary measures will ensue in the event of any breach or failure to vote in that line. So basically, the die is cast. But it will also be interesting to see what Professor Kindiki will say tomorrow in relation to the impeachment motion, because one of the major grounds being listed there is, number one, failure to attend the State House meeting last Monday, where a decision was made to kick out Kipchumba Murkomen and Susan Kihika as majority leader and majority whip respectively. But I found something very interesting. There are 5 senators who are facing expulsion from the party for skipping that meeting. But surprise, surprise, they signed in support of the removal of the Deputy Speaker for that very same mistake of skipping that State House meeting. So in reverse, what does it say? Then it also endorses the process of expelling them from the party, because if the Deputy Speaker will be punished primarily for skipping that meeting and insubordinating the President and gross misconduct, then the same whip should fall on them.
But isn't there anything like plea bargaining, even in law? I mean, you can always
say so.
You can always get away with
Joe,
it.
Carlo Lepario says something, and I think I want you to comment on it. He says the removal of Kindiki Kithure, Professor Kindiki, as Senate Deputy Speaker, is going to be the last straw that breaks the camel's back. The die is already cast for Jubilee. The falcon can no longer hear the falconer. Expect more casualties. So is this it for Jubilee now?
What do you mean in it? I mean, I think that I'm not sure what he means that the last straw for Jubilee, because I think that Jubilee has been living a life for a long time. I mean, they long divorced. They are kind of still coexisting because maybe there are restrictions like the ones that we have right now in the country. They cannot move out because, you know, you move out, you probably have to go for an election and all of those things. So I think they have been tolerating each other for a long time, and you can see it. The undercurrents were there for a long time. Now it is a full-blown civil war. You remember the kind of tirades that we saw directed at the president, for example, when the ousters that we saw the other day of Kipchumba Murkomen and company in the Senate. So there is a sense in which this has been simmering for far too long, and it had to come to a head at some point. And I think the Senate has been a softer place to kind of kick off this thing. I was speaking to someone who told me that if you were to think about the World War II, then you would liken what's happening in what happened in the Senate to the Prince of Sarajevo's killing, that there's something that triggers the bigger war that is going to go all the way to the National Assembly, that could go to the committees and they reconstitute them and, you know, kind of kick out the people they don't think are towing the line and that sort of thing. And I think it just tells you, even this letter that we've seen from Irungu Kangata, that the president and the people around him have finally said, as we say in Kenya, kama mbaya mbaya, that it's enough is enough. Let's do this and let the chips fall where they may.
I think, Linus, what we need to know now from you is today we had some of those who are for Kithure Kindiki and those who are against him speaking. And Moses Kuria spoke of dictatorship. Where do we draw the line between party discipline and dictatorship?
Now, there is this notion that anarchy is democracy. And it's a very wrong notion. When you look at the state of our political party affairs, this is anarchy. There is not a single party that is in good order. Probably KANU still is in good order because it hasn't quite been in the center of affairs for the last close to 20 years now. But I heard the Honorable Moses Kuria talking about dictatorship. And Francis, you mentioned earlier about the party position. When you look at the history of party politics in the UK, whipping party members is part of the practice in a very, very democratic system of party rule. The party position is the party position. You're not being invited to bring your conscience, your choices, your opinion. No, this is the discipline of party politics. When a party chooses a position, you go by the party. There are choices normally that you have to exercise if you disagree with the party. And one, they call it crossing the floor, meaning you are going to the other side, or resigning, which is what those who don't agree with the position taken by the party leader ought to do. You resign and say, in our conscience, we don't agree with the direction that the Jubilee Party is taking. Let us not forget the indiscipline of our politics. Right now, like I'm saying, we don't have parties. But we can't also run into a situation where we now don't have a governing arrangement. Party order is so important because it's out of parties that we get governments. When you don't have political parties, then you don't have governments unless you're talking of a military dictatorship. And when you look at the way we've conducted our party affairs, we are barely a multi-party democracy. Every after election, we converge either in formation of a national unity government or a coalition, or what we don't admit, a single party state, where we don't know the name of the party, but in all practical purposes, right now, the country is run by a single party state that has in it President Uhuru Kenyatta as its leader, and Raila Odinga as its deputy.
But the question is, what then are the functions of a member of parliament? And at what point do you execute your functions as a member of parliament and the functions of you as a member of a political party in the House? Because if it is oversight, if it is representation, if it is legislation, must you be guided by the decision of the political party at all times? Hold on. Guided by the decision of the political party at all times. Do you have your own views as an individual lawmaker? You say, on matters of principle, this is the party position, but this is my position.
You can have your views, but that will involve pretending that you do not know the trail of where everything is coming from. This is not normal political party affairs. There's been a leadership contest within Jubilee between its leader, the President Uhuru Kenyatta, and its deputy President William Ruto. In this, and Joe put it really in a way I agree, there will emerge a winner. And I think what you can see from the president's side is a resolve to win the battle with his deputy. He has taken it to the Houses of Parliament. Is doing it to the top leadership of the Senate. Look, the charge sheet tomorrow might look even quite blank for Senator Kindiki. It's just not participating in the meeting. Because all you are saying is you belong to the other side. And I am winning this fight, and I'll win this fight with you.
Regardless.
Out of that position.
And in any case, by the way, there are very few things in Parliament where the party would have a clear position. For example, if you're asking questions about how some money was used in your constituency, that some road, I don't know which was supposed to be built, and something happened to the money, the party would hardly bother with things like that. But when it comes to something that directly challenges the authority of the party leader or is perceived to do that, then there will be casualties. And I think this is the kind of thing where you'll be told that there is no gray area here. You're either on this side, more like what George W. Bush famously said, you're either with us or you're with the enemy.
Absolutely.
And I also look at it in this way. After the Senate, I've heard the Jubilee leaders call it the fumigation of Parliament, yeah, and fumigation of the party. So, and fumigation means like total cleanup or something, something of the sort, or there's some virus that you're trying to get rid of, or the National Assembly is the next stop, and chairpersons of committees and the leadership of the National Assembly. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, because we're now heading into the budget, the critical parts of the budget making process. Maybe by mid-June or thereabout, the fumigation proper will be kicking in the House, and there are prime candidates for that. I mean, let's say, for example, the majority whip in the National Assembly, Washali Benjamin, has already said, "I know they are coming for me." I've heard Kimani Ichung'wah, the chairman of the budget committee, say, "I know they are coming for me." So there's no surprise, so to say, in terms of who is targeted, Linus.
But Gashuri, who do we expect now will take his place? Because if Professor Kithure Kindiki is ousted tomorrow, impeached, there must be someone in mind who the party wants.
Quite a number. There's talk of Professor Margaret Kamar, the Uasin Gishu senator, being one of the front runners in the race to succeed Kindiki there. But in the event she doesn't get it, there's also a possibility of having a handshake team in the Senate. What if they, for example, settle on Judith Pareno, the nominated senator from ODM, to deputize Ken Lusaka? I mean, there's also the handshake discussion in the two chambers of Parliament.
I think what counts now is the removal than the replacement.
Yeah,
I think
they could just easily replacing with anyone.
They can replace with anybody.
But the replacement must also be strategic, I would suspect.
The point they want to make initially, because obviously they'll come up with a replacement, is first of all, remove you. And you'd asked whether the National Assembly will be the next stop.
Absolutely.
You see, when you're winning battles, the appetite for more victories will be there. I don't think those behind this president's purge want to stop at half measures. I think they'll go all the way and make sure that the Houses of Parliament, which were initially seen as pro-Deputy President William Ruto, now shift to the president's side by hook or crook. Any method works.
The crook includes the big stick.
Yes.
And the big stick could also be probably preparation for a few other things that require parliamentary action. What if there's a possibility of a few changes in the constitution through the parliamentary route? So you need to prepare the numbers in advance. And number two, what if there's a possibility of impeaching the deputy president? Even if not the whole hog, but just that trigger that, hey, we can even proceed this direction, because the two chambers of parliament are important, are significant in the event of such an impeachment. So it's also a show of who has the numbers in the House.
Interesting, but we need to go home now.
Yes, we do.